Yeah. All right, I have 5 p.m. We will call the May 1st. Are you ready, Derek? Sorry. Rod, you ready? Rod's all ready? All right, now we're ready. May 1st, 2025, Executive and Finance Standing Committee to order. Roll call, Mr. Kalish, please.
Carroll.
Here.
Manning.
Here.
Gill.
Here.
Glassburner.
Here.
Woodhouse.
Here.
Turk is absent. Frank.
Yes.
Williamson.
Here.
And Cooey.
Here. Mr. Cooey's online. Welcome, Mr. Cooey. All right, verification open meeting law compliance.
Yes, Mr. Chair, the meeting was properly noticed.
Agenda approval, 20-point agenda, looking for approval as presented to us. Mr. Manning, seconded by Glassbrenner. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, Mr. Cooey said aye as well. Minutes from our April 8th meeting are in the packet. Anybody with questions, concerns, changes as they were presented to us? If not, I will declare them approved as presented in the packet. Public comment, item number 6, public comment. Anybody out there in our online is just Mr. Cooley, right? Anybody else there?
Yeah, but I don't believe anyone has public comment. There's Miranda and Stephanie Brown.
Oh, there it's our group. Whoever's on. Okay, anybody else? If not, we'll move on to reports. Item 7A, our new county administrator has an update for us.
Okay, so first thing with the administrator update is we have hired Melissa Wickert as the payroll and benefits administrator. So she started on April 21st. It's been a whirlwind for her. If you may or may not recall, she did start out as an employee of HHS in the economic support, and when Tammy gave her notice, we recalled that Melissa had previously done payroll for Kickapoo School District, and so she agreed to transition into that role on a short-term basis, and then when it was posted, applied for it. I believe there were 3 that were interviewed, and she was the chosen candidate. So they did have the first 2 payrolls or the first 2 weeks of payroll that went off pretty much without a hitch. There were some little glitches, but overall people got paid. Some minor little changes, and they are working through all of those in the system. I have been working on meeting with department heads. Since I've started, I've met with 12 out of the 20 of them so far, and I do have a few more scheduled and still need to schedule some more. Last week, I attended a Richland area employee meeting. So it's a group of different local businesses that get together to really talk about what do we do about the employee shortages. So that was the second meeting that they had, and then there's a third one that's coming up. And it really is to try to focus on how do we solve the problem of not having enough workers out there. And then also this week I attended the collaborative group meeting, which just really is encouraging collaboration between the city, the county, the school district, and community members. I've been slowly getting brought up to speed on the tower project, the campus, Tyler rollout, and thus far things have been going well.
Anybody with questions for our administrator? When do you get to start the budget?
Soon we're going to need to start the budget.
Okay.
Yes, soon.
Tyler, do you have any more to add than what 7B?
Yeah. So again, payroll was pretty successful that we got done. There was a learning curve, and they're slowly working them out. We've been working with our representative from Tyler a lot. He has worked very hard to be patient with us, and overall has done a good job of supporting us. He did today provide to us a video to ensure that we can upload from Kronos to Pine Valley payroll, and making sure that we are able to do that well in the future. Staff have gotten access to the Tyler ESS portal, and it's for them to go in and see their paychecks, look at their account balances. There's been a couple glitches with that, but again, we continue to work with Tyler to solve that. Last I checked, there was a really small group of employees that actually logged in, so we'll continue to encourage them to log in so that they have access to that information. I do want to thank the staff who really worked hard to do the payroll. These last 2 weeks were pretty stressful for them. It's Melissa Wickert, Michelle Brown, Justin Siemens, Taryn Weber, and Kayla Cataract from Pine Valley, and Terrence from Thank you. Karen's from Highway. So it was a great help for them because a lot of that had to be manually entered. Now we're working on kind of creating those spreadsheets and just getting them to merge together. With Tyler, though, our next step is going to be to roll out the time and attendance. So the kickoff meeting for that will be May 19th. It sounds like that's going to be quite a lengthy process, and we should be able to fully utilize time and attendance probably in October of this year. So that is going to take a while. Overall, I think everything with Tyler is going pretty good. We do need to continue to work on the financial part of the Tyler, really maximizing the system, increasing rollout to other departments. Thus far, Tammy Newberry has been printing a lot of reports for department heads, but our goal is for them to have access to the system and be able to print those reports that they need themselves.
Questions? Seems like we're going forward anyway.
We are, yep, we're
Good.
continuing to go forward.
Very good.
Everybody got paid?
That's very good. If no one has any questions, let's move on to item number 8, discussion, possible action, a resolution relating to canceling stale county checks. I suppose that's Miss Ashley gonna talk to us about that.
It is. So I've got two, this is one of two, so this is the annual steel checks write-off that we have. So these checks were dated January 1st, 2023 to December 31st, 2023. Like before, we've kind of always done this yearly. We always reach out to them to see if people can be reissued these checks. The list that I have here, they have not gotten back to me as far as reissuing those. I did give them 2 months to do that. So these are the ones that are left over that I have not gotten any communication that they wanted those reissued. So going forward, we will continue to do that, but this is a standard thing we do every single year.
Did we, in the past, set a minimum for what checks we're gonna write?
As far as like,
Yeah, I mean, we've got a $3, $3.25. I thought at one time, but it might have been after 23 that we set.
I couldn't find one.
Okay.
My threshold is $1. So I would like it to be, but that's a discussion for another time, because
Okay.
yes,
Agenda item?
reissuing checks for $1.75 is very time consuming and not really efficient for us, so that's a discussion that I was going to bring up later this year, but that's another
Maybe we
item.
just discussed it once and never went any further.
Yeah.
It has been discussed at one time.
Correct.
What all do you need from us? Anybody with questions, we can put it on the table for approval to move it on to full county board, and then if they have questions. Motion by Glassbrenner, seconded by Gill. Anybody with further discussions? We do this every year. If not, all those in favor of moving on to full county board. This is 2023 checks. Signify by saying aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Okay, second portion, you have another one, correct?
I do have another one. So, Wisconsin State Statute 7520 requires a 11-year write-off for any outstanding tax certificates. So we write off any, usually it's like, usually it's properties that have contamination on those, because we don't take those via tax deed. So again, this is a pretty standard thing that we do every single year. This year is 2012 for outstanding tax certificates to write those off. And as you can see, they are on the back. So most of these are, I would say all of them except for one is contaminated, which we wouldn't take for tax deed. And one was historic. So.
Down from a few years ago, total numbers, but.
Correct.
We would entertain a motion to move this on the full county board. We can then discuss. Motion by Manning, I'll second it. Anybody want to discuss any of these? Actually, today I thought about if you don't know, another one of these that has gone through the process, if I remember right, is the old dry cleaner. And I thought, man, maybe there's somebody out there that can apply for cleanup for that, but. So the majority of these, since I've been on, like the Sylvan Creamery, that one, we haven't taken that one because once we do, we have to clean it up. And that's, like Ashley said, the majority of these have some type of contamination.
Correct.
Not proven, but more than likely.
Yes, yeah.
Questions for Ashley on these? If not, all those in favor of moving on to full county board signify by saying aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Okay, thank you, Ashley.
Thank you.
Moving on to item 10, discussion and possible action is a resolution approving amendment to the 2023 Comprehensive Outdoor Recreation Plan. Mr. Hardy.
All right, thank you. Thanks for having me, and appreciate having about half of your agenda here with my items. So, I'm one of the quieter department heads here, so you don't get to hear from me much, so I appreciate it.
But when we do.
When you do, I won't shut up. So anyway, so what the natatorium board is looking at doing is making improvements to the tennis and basketball courts out there on campus, as well as the trails out there. We'd like to apply for a land and water conservation grant for the tennis courts, which we'll talk about in a little bit, and a recreational trails program grant, which we'll talk about a little bit too. In order to do that, we have to have, those projects have to be in our comprehensive outdoor recreation plan, which they currently are not. The county does have a 2023 comprehensive court plan that is valid for 5 years, so we can meet this requirement by making a simple amendment to the court plan. So it requires, of course, a resolution that will go to the county board later this month, and then the amendments, which are in your packet, are a couple of appendixes that that would be added to the end, the last pages, which basically specify the projects that we're talking about, the tennis and basketball court renovation, as well as the trails improvements, which would be signage and benches. So this first recommendation from the natatorium board is for the amendments to the 2023 court plan.
I would entertain a motion to get this on the table for discussion to amend looking for a motion to amend the 2023 Comprehensive Outdoor Recreation Plan. Mr. Bob Frank, seconded by Mr. Craig Woodhouse. Discussion. Anyone? Mr. Carroll.
I don't recall if the current plan, does it, in terms of capital improvements, does it list any budgeted or estimated figures for costs for the other?
For other projects it does, not for these projects.
Or any of them, all of them?
Yes, so it does have, it is separated. It is on the county website now as well. There's a link on there, so you can go on there and see what's on there as well right now. Yeah, so there are, at the time when they did the court, they did have, it was well done. Southwest Wisconsin Planning, or whoever had done that, they did a good job on it. And they do have that separated with costs on there. This, we will have some costs done, provided that the grant application is approved by you guys, by the board. And then if we do get the grant, or even if we don't get the grant, we're gonna have to go for donations to get those done. But then we'll have a plan done and we'll have costs done. We're looking at doing this through grants and donations. We're not looking at any tax dollars for this.
So the donations is for the matching to the grant?
For the matching part of it, this is, yeah, we'll talk about the grants next. But yeah, we're looking for the matching part being donations.
This is the first step.
Yes.
Yep. If there's no further questions, all those in favor of approving this and sending it out to full county board, signify by saying aye. Aye. Mr. Cooley still on? All right. Anybody opposed? All right. Now, next item is 11. This is discussion of possible action resolution approving the application and acceptance of a land and water conservation fund grant. Mr. Mike.
So this again was recommended by the natatorium board at their April meeting. So we have the opportunity to go after a land and water conservation fund grant through the Wisconsin DNR manages these grants. These are 50-50 grants, so we have to match 50% of the grants. We're estimating about $300,000 to renovate the tennis and basketball court. So those courts were originally funded by a land and water conservation fund grant back in 1981. Because of that, the state requires that we've got those courts for forever, basically. So we've got to, they have to be maintained, they have to be updated, they have to be accessible to the public, they have to be safe, which they currently are not right now. And the county's on the hook to either do that or to transfer it to the city, and the city would have to do that, or you've got to replace the value of those courts in another park. So basically, once you get a grant like this, then you've got it forever, basically. So basically, what we need to do is, because we're not right now meeting compliance with those courts, but we do have the opportunity to get this grant to bring them up to compliance, and we actually get an extra point because we did get a grant for this in the past. So this grant would be a 50-50 grant. We're looking at a $300,000 project, which would mean if we do get this, and it would be for 2026, so grants are announced and are available in January 1st of 2026. Projects have to be done by the end of 2028, so it gives us a couple of years to get the matching donations raised and to get the project all set and everything like that. So an editorial board would be looking at going after donations. We've already talked to the local pickleball club, we've talked to the high school, we've talked to the foundation. So we've got support from those groups moving forward. So it's some of our members, we had our members take a survey, what they wanted to see there. So we would be working, if this does pass, we would be working on getting plans, designs out there, working with the community, working with the city on those courts as well. So again, we wouldn't be looking for any tax dollars, tax levy dollars. This would all be, we'd be looking for a donation match. So
I would again entertain a motion to bring this on the floor. This would be, the motion would be to apply and accept a LWCF grant. Somebody from the committee, Mr. Gill, Mr. Carroll seconds. Discussion, questions towards Mr. Hardy? Mr. Gill, go ahead.
So you're gonna get raised $150,000 is what you're saying? Because that's 300,000 is the whole thing, so half of it has to be.
I'm not saying me personally, but
You're board.
So yeah, so we've, and Dave's on the Natural Committee too, and he had mentioned that, you know, it is possible that this would qualify as part of that $2 million campus grant. That would be something that the Campus Reconfiguration Committee would have to talk about. You know, there's plenty of needs out there, obviously, otherwise, but we do have, you know, quite a few supporters. We do feel that $150,000 is doable, because we've got till 2028 to do it, basically.
Okay, well, that's a
Okay.
great.
Mr. Carroll.
If we're awarded the grant, is there in other words, how much time do we have to get the matching? Is there a time deadline constraint?
No, as long as we finish it, as long as we can finish it by 2028.
Okay.
So basically, and we wouldn't start until we had, obviously, we had the match. So for example, if we got awarded this grant, $150,000, we wouldn't start January 1st of 2026. You know, we would be, well, regardless of whether we get this grant or not, we're going after donations to get started on it. And maybe we'll only raise $100,000 in donations, and we don't get the grant, then we'll do $100,000 in repairs. So at least it can be used, and it can be made up, brought up to standards.
Gotcha.
Mike, when do they announce the grant awards?
Typically, the governor likes to announce these, and he usually does them in September-ish, announces them, and then we can get the money as early as January 1st of 2026.
Any further questions in regarding the tennis court, basketball court? If not, all those in favor of moving this on to full county board, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? All right. Item 12, discussion, possible action, resolution approving the application and acceptance of a recreational trails program, RTP grant, for improvements to the former UW Platteville Richland Wellness Trails. Mr. Hardy.
So this is very similar to the last one we just talked about as far as timelines and everything, as far as when it's announced, and it's basically run through the same through the DNR. We've gotten RTP grants before, quite a few in the county, Pine River and Snowmobile grants, you know, a lot of those are coming through the RTP, same program. It's an 80-20 match, so we only have to match 20% of it. What the Natatorium Board is looking at is a $50,000 improvement to those trails. It's basically mapping, signage, wayfinding signage, interpretive signage, so like invasive species, and kind of showing people what, you know, this is what a northern or a Midwest hardwood forest or whatever it might be. So it's kind of an educational type thing, as well as putting some benches along the trail, seating benches. So it would be about a $50,000 project. So the grant would be $40,000 if we were to receive that. We'd have to match $10,000. The Natatorium Board was confident that we can get that match. In fact, the foundation already said that they've got $3,000 available that they'll give us now for the trails. That's specifically for trails. So we've already got $3,000 of the $7,000 raised. But anyway, beyond that, it's pretty much the same as the other grant. It has to be spent by 2028, gets announced, and it's ready in 2026. Wouldn't be any tax dollars again, we'd be going after donations, and again, it's for mapping, signage, and benches along the trail. Nothing that would add additional maintenance down the road either.
Very good. I would again entertain a motion for them to proceed with the RTP grant towards the trail improvements out at the campus property, former campus property. Ms. Glassbrenner, Mr. Woodhouse, discussion. Mr. Carroll, got a question?
Yeah. Can you tell us how the $50,000 estimate was determined?
So we talked to a couple of planners, architects, that as far as the mapping services and what they basically cost for those contracting costs, because that's a big part of it, is we need to have someone to do an actual map of where the trail's at, and so we can get that. And then we've looked at some past projects that we've done as far as designing signs and installing signs. So costs and what it costs for each sign. We've got a count of, I think we've got 8 wayfinding signs up there and 10 interpretive signs. So just using those, what has cost us in the past for to do the design and the manufacture of each sign, and then we just kind of added that up. When 8 benches we're looking at doing, so they're about $1,000 a bench or so, as well as the concrete pads. So we just kind of added up that way and rounded up a little bit, so we went a little higher than because obviously things are going to cost more next year than they cost now. So
So you don't anticipate any actual trail building?
Nope, there won't be any trail building, there won't be any changes to the trail. It's going to still continue to be a grass, dirt, trail.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, if those of you that haven't been on in a long time, when I first started, we didn't even have a map or anything out at Ash Creek. So we went through that, got that, and there was no names, because Bob remembers when the young lady had an ankle injury, broke her ankle, and they couldn't find her. So we have, now since then, that was always in the back of my mind, so we've got, you're on that committee now. We didn't use names like the Oak Trail, or I think we used colors, if I remember right.
Colors.
Because we started out, we didn't have the money to do the signage, so we just painted trees that color, so you can at least know you're on the purple trail or the black trail, anyway, so. And I have been on them trails, and there's not as many, I don't think, as what's out at Ash Creek. But
Yeah, it's quite a bit smaller, so there's not quite that concern of, of getting lost or whatever, but it is still nice to have.
very good. Any other questions for Mr. Hardy in regards to the trails? If not, all those in favor of moving this on to full county board signify by saying aye. Aye. All right. And again, the next item is 13. Discussion and possible action would be a resolution naming the former UW Richland Wellness Trails as the Marty Brewer Nature Trails. Mr. Hardy.
This was a request that came to the natatorium board at their March meeting in honor of Marty Brewer's service to the county to name those trails after Marty Brewer. I recall coming to one of the past reconfiguration committee meetings, and he was here and he had mentioned something how he thinks that hill or that hilltop should be preserved for county use, county park use, or for public use, I should say, those trails. So, and then Dave, I think, had mentioned that at a past meeting too, where he thought that was appropriate to name the trails after him or in honor of him. So that's one thing the natatorium board wanted to do to kind of show some honor that way. Again, this would go to the county board at their next meeting as well, if it's something that you choose to pass on. But again, this would then be called the Marty Brewer Nature Trails, or whatever you want to call it.
Move to approve the resolution.
Motion by Carroll, seconded by Manning. Discussion. Mr. Frank.
So is this something the family is in favor of too? I don't want to presume on family members if this is, I want to make sure that they're a part of this or they agree to this. If someone's name usage is important.
Yeah, I'm not for sure that they have been. I haven't contacted them. I know David said something at the natatorium board that the plan was, if this was approved, that we would invite the family, and he mentioned his wife, or I don't know his family or whatever, but he had mentioned them doing the ribbon cutting or something, so I don't know. I can't speak for him if he actually had a conversation with them.
I hate to presume that if they had some other.
Right.
Yep.
We can approve, in my opinion, we could approve it with the idea that either Mr. Turk or I will check with Connie
before it goes to board.
Right,
Yeah, I think that would-
before we vote at the full county chair.
I think that would be
And we can
reasonable.
report back to you.
Well, somebody, just so I,
Yeah, no, I agree with Bob that you,
Yeah, that's a good point.
yeah. But,
please, yeah, I'd be fine with that as long as we get that checked.
questions, anybody else? You're okay with the name as is?
Sure.
All right, so we will,
We will make a motion to send this to county board contingent upon the approval from Marty Brewer.
perfect. All those in favor of moving on to full county board with the contingency, we'll check with the Marty Brewer family to make sure it's okay with them. Signify by saying aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Hardy. Anything else you need to talk about?
Yeah, one more.
Yeah,
One more.
we
Oh, yeah, there it is.
Oh, my God, really?
Yeah, you better get that money in there.
really did have that.
Discussion and possible action resolution accepting more donations to the Simon Center.
Okay, last one, I promise. Okay, so this is the April donations offered by the foundation. There's about $9,113 that they had offered. The largest items, you can see there, so floor scrubber is to help with the maintenance of the building. That's one of the larger items at a little over $4,000. Door fob readers, what those are is, your fob to get into the door. We have 24/7 access at Simon's. Right now, the system that we've got is, I don't know how old it is, but it's not supported anymore. In fact, the last time the county did an update of the computer, they had to come down to Simon's and install an older version of Firefox so that would work, because it's not supported. So yeah, and this the new fob readers actually work with our software system, our membership software system. So instead of like right now, when a member buys a fob, we update them on their software system, on their member record, and then we have to go to a different computer program that controls the doors, and we have to give them access to go on the computer, or to get in the doors. And for example, if they miss a payment or they're no longer members, we have to physically remember to go in there and make sure that they don't have access, disable their fob. With this new system, it'll automatically do it with their membership. So if they don't pay their payments, their membership doesn't get updated automatically by the software, so automatically their access gets turned off at the door and they can't come in at midnight or whatever. So, and that's, again, a donation request from the foundation. A couple of the other things, a replacement basketball hoop which broke at the pool, and some marketing items, and then a new hose reel for the pool as well. So again, that's a little over $9,000 from the foundation, offered from the foundation, and up for your consideration.
Perfect. So I would entertain a motion to accept the April 2025 donations to the Simon Recreation Complex. Ingrid and Mr. Woodhouse. Discussion? None? Mr. Gill, go ahead.
Are the television sets going to be in addition to the 5 that are currently there, or those replacement televisions?
Oh, sorry, I didn't mention the television sets. Yeah, 3 large screen television sets. They're new TV sets, but they're for displaying events that are going on at Simon's. They're informational sets, so they're not the TVs to watch, cable programs or whatever. So it'll scroll through things that are going on at Simon's, things that are going on in the community that are related to Simon's. One of them will go in the cardio workout room. One goes in the atrium near the pool, so it can be seen in the pool. One goes in the lobby area. So, and that's also an opportunity for, because the foundation is donating that, an opportunity for foundation to note things like their fundraisers and things like that. They had a shared night last night at Culver's, so things like that would go on to kind of announce to people. So.
Great.
Good, there you go.
We're getting 3 TVs for $1,700.
3, one 65-inch and 2 75-inch. I don't know where Kyle found them, or assistant director found them, and I don't know where he found them.
They don't want to know at this point.
It was a truck sale.
You got it before the tariffs anyway.
Yeah, right. Inside or behind wall? Any other questions? Any other questions for Mike in regards to the Simon's donations? If not, all those in favor of moving the resolution on to the full county board, signify by saying aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? All right. Now you're done. Thank you. All right, moving on to item 15, we'll be moving into closed session, and that is for board members, committee members, board members, Attorney Wendell, our Miss Tricia is in, and Mr. Mike Jessen.
I also request that Mr. Stanky be admitted closed session as vice chair of the campus.
Okay. Is that okay, Mr. Wendell? Up to you. Up to me? Sure. All right. So, Mr. Cooey, because of our new rules stated back in what, January of this year, you are not allowed in closed session on WebEx. So you get to be released. Yeah.
Sounds real.
Yeah.
All right, now we'll take a
Let's
motion.
avoid it.
As soon as we get everybody good, Mr. Riley, motion by Manning, seconded by Mr. Gill. All those in favor of moving into closed session signify by saying aye. Aye. All right, mark down that it was unanimous to go into closed session.
5:30, got it.
Yep, and we'll go for a 2-minute recess, those that need to take a restroom break or anything, and then we will start. Ron? All right, everybody, we are back into open session. We have nothing to cover or no action on anything that was discussed in closed session. Mr. Kamish, any correspondence?
No, Mr. Chair.
Future agenda items. Mr. Gill has one.
I would like to hear, we talked about a MOU
You
for
wanna bring it up this
signing
time?
with the,
Smackdown, fellas.
the gym and whatever. We never heard how that was resolved, or
It's
we
not,
talked about the MOU with the school district and with Simon's doing it, and they were gonna work together or something, and then I don't know whatever happened.
We'll have a
report for you.
Okay, that's what I'm looking
In the works.
report on the MOU with the school district. is what
Yeah,
you're asking
yeah.
for. Yep. Any other future agenda items?
Do we have a plan in place for support of our new administrator?
I'll answer on her behalf and say that.
It's the same plan we had for the last two.
We support you.
You're advocating to change
Let's
that.
make a plan so that we're aligned with the strategic vision and we're.
Yeah, at least to start,
Start.
on the process, how
Would
it's
that be
gonna work.
useful?
Yes.
Okay, let's get that on the table, make a plan for that.
At least create a process for how it's gonna work or something.
Yeah, just, it'll make things easier in the long run, it'll be aligned.
Good.
Be aligned.
Anybody else, Mr. Carroll? Okay, no? Good. We'll add them as we see them, if there's any others to come up. All right, Mr. Manning.
Motion to adjourn.
Seconded by Mr. Frank. All those in favor of adjourning till our next meeting here in May, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, thank you, everyone.
When is the next